Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on if you're watching this live or on replay somewhere around the world. Thank you for joining us today. We have a pretty exciting launch event that we've planned for you today. We are delving into version 6.0 launch of Crystal Eye. We've been around that long, yes. We're also going to talk about some exciting hardware that we're bringing on board that we're going to be selling across Australia and perhaps around the world as well. And we have some very interesting updates for our partners that we're covering off, hoping that this invigorates everybody's outlook on Piranha and gets us well underway in dominating the market. So let's get into it. The graphics are all on the other slides because mine are pretty poor. So look, we are relaunching our partner program. You will be getting orchestrate notifications and approval emails very soon in the new year about what we're doing. We are improving our RMA process as well. We are improving our hardware refresh and having that new product line that I was talking about. And of course, we will talk about 6.0 features. We will also present some live demos and have a question and answer session. Today, I'm joined by our fearless leader and Commander-in-Chief, Adam Bennett, and Zaid Bahati, who is our new product manager. Thank you guys for coming along and sharing your thoughts today.
Good to see everyone, George, and thanks for the intro. Yes, also, introducing Zaid to the team. He's based out of Perth. He'll be talking more about all the exciting developments we've done, new things happening in the product team. We've really invested a lot of effort and resource to increase our product team's capabilities, and Zaid's part of that, leading that charge, as well as Adjourn and the product team as well. So you'll be seeing a lot of great things coming out of that, and excited to be here and talk about these new updates, and welcoming Zaid to the team and introducing him to our friends and family and partners.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, let's jump straight in. For those who don't know, Piranha was founded back in 2015, 10 years ago. It was founded by Adam and a close posse of associates. It was founded based on the frustration that Adam was seeing in the market, where we had so many disparate tools, nothing talked to anything, and there was a lot of people analyzing logs, and that's about it. You had firewalls and people looking at logs. So Piranha grew from there, an idea that is now flourishing into a truly universal platform. We have, of course, Crystal Eye as our foundation stone. It's both an appliance as well as a full cloud SASE model, encompassing CASB as well. We, interestingly enough, have CREST certification, ISO 9001, ISO 27001, but not only do we have these certifications, we walk and help and make sure our partners and customers, if they wish to, are then certified for these memberships. We also are, we are also a member of Team Defence Australia and Cyber Threat Alliance across Australia, which gives us a really good foundation to help customers in their DISP journeys or in any compliance, Essential 8 journeys as well. And I guess more crown jewels, we also have a full SOC, and we can provide SOC as a service. And if anybody is interested, please call me, please drop me an email. SOC as a service has just had 2 or 3 large customers being onboarded, and we're providing some excellent services for them over and above people who sign up for something like Splunk or any of the other SIEM services. Ours is a truly, it's a SOC as a service, but it provides that full TDIR, threat detection, investigation services as well. So let's jump into what I wanted to talk about. And in terms of the partner program, we're enhancing the partner program and relaunching it early in January. We're increasing the commission for partners who wish to pass leads to us. That's gone from 12.5% to 15%. 15% is a pretty good deal if you're just handing over leads to Red Piranha for us to close. Our premium partners will now get a discount of up to 30% on all hardware and bundles. Services, we will work on that with you. We will offer special discounts to our partners for any of our services. And we will have structured quarterly business reviews with all of our major partners. So as part of the new partner program, all our premium partners will be issued with network engineering credits. Now, the network engineering credit program is credits based on real dollar numbers, whether it's $1,000, $3,000, or $6,000, to each partner to use our services, our network engineering services, for their customers or for their internal networks. Now, in the first year, we will be giving NECP programs and money to our partners for free in the first year, in the launch year. Now, these professional services can be used, as I said, on your customers, on projects, or internally. In the second year, you will be using credits that you've earned in the first year. So as part of NECP, each partner earns credits when they sell things. They earn credits when they sell our services, and a raft of other things. I won't go into it now. I can explain it at the quarterly business reviews. And again, in the second year, those credits you earn, you can spend the way you like using our services. This will help onboarding new partners, allowing them to learn about Crystal Eye as we go along. The first year was always, there'll be hiccups and problems, so we'll smooth them out using our network credits. This, as I said, is scheduled for early 2026 release. Now, I'm going to hand over to Zaid to talk about the other part of our enhancements to the network program.
Thank you, George. I'd like to first talk about our new RMA support process. So we've improved our RMA process to ensure faster hardware replacement, typically within 24 to 72 hours, depending on the location. In the past, your devices needed to be returned to Red Piranha for hardware repairs. So with this new support process, either Red Piranha or one of our partners can manage that replacement, and we'll expedite minor components like hard drive. The goal here is to minimize downtime for our end clients.
If I could just jump in there too before we move on past that. So we're actually putting the call out to our partners as well to be part of this hardware RMA process. This procedure has come about due to the engineering that we've done with our Kickstarter technology. So as you know, in our technology, we don't use, we use unique keys. We don't use master keys in any of our products and as a security function. We also don't give access to anyone to the root as we reduce that attack surface. So this technology allows us now to do hardware replacements remotely, and has also already been tested with partners and customers in the US, where we've had minimal resource on the ground. So what we're able to do here is ship a number of critical parts that do have failures, like hard drive, system drives, often one of the parts that fail due to the hard read writes, and also just drives fail in any hardware. So things like that can now be replaced, and expanding this program through our partner network will be important to maintain that availability for our customers going forward. So it's something that the product team's been working really hard on.
Thank you, Adam. Next up, we have our hardware refresh coming up. We're refreshing our CE hardware line with new processors and next-gen motherboards. You can expect a roughly 30% performance uplift depending on the model and your use case. These platforms will support the next wave of Crystal Eye features and give you more scalability and longevity. We also have an exciting new product line that we've invested in. These devices will integrate seamlessly with the Crystal Eye, extending the ecosystem beyond security appliances and into broader network infrastructure. Some of these include tactical wireless 5G solutions designed for partners and customers operating in a diverse set of environments. So here's an example of some of the solutions that we can deploy. Something we like to call tactical edge networking appliances, or TENA. These are rugged and rapidly deployable secure networking products. It provides connectivity and protection at the edge, even in places where traditional infrastructure doesn't exist. It supports 5G today, and we're looking at expansion into satellite and even mesh backhaul. It's built specifically for defense, mining, first responders, and for remote operation.
And if we could just jump in there too, something else we'll be releasing in the software in 6.0 is the quantum-proof encryption over SD-WAN. So this is relevant to this environment as well, where customers require higher assurance in the encrypted transmission streams. So you've got to secure conduits. And so that quantum-proof encryption is in testing right now and will be out around February, March for our customers to start trialing.
That's very exciting. Thanks, Adam, for that info. Here's an example of how some of the TENA technology can be used for a remote or military hospital. With TENA, specialists can securely deliver consultations, minor patient consults, or run high-definition diagnostics from anywhere. This supports things like telemedicine, wearables, and real-time remote care. Now, this product, the Gateway Edge Box, is a low-power industrial edge appliance. It provides a secure processing. It's built for harsh conditions, making it perfect for mining, industrial, and remote IoT environments. I like to call this the Crystal Eye rugged appliance, although the name might be workshopped a bit there, but that's kind of the name I've coined for now. This is just an example of some of the appliances that can work in some really harsh conditions. We're also looking into Wi-Fi access points. Here's an example of a Wi-Fi 7 access point with multi-gigabit low latency performance. It uses AI optimization for coverage, interference handling, and load balancing. This kind of device is ideal for high-density enterprises, industrial sites, and even remote deployments. We also have the 5G CPE, which is designed for remote connectivity where fiber isn't available. Provides stable, high-speed access using ruggedish antennas and weatherproof construction. This is perfect for remote mining, agriculture, temporary sites, or even as backup connectivity.
And I think, and don't quote me on that, but we'll be the first sovereign Australian 5G technology provider in Australia, I think, at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's very exciting if that is the case. We also have looking into some AI servers for AI-driven threat detection and automated responses across your network. These will give you deeper visibility and smarter traffic insights. They're able to scale to multi-site operations through Orchestrate. The strength and detection reduces workload and improves response time.
And this will become really important when we start releasing CSOC as a product next year. We plan to start allowing some beta trial customers in the new year getting their hands on CSOC as a combined platform. Connecting the Crystal Eye sensors, Orchestrate, and CSOC in for larger environments. And already we're utilizing AI across the platform, but this will allow us to scale with customers to help build out private AI cloud for their own purposes, but also from the security sense as well. We'll be able to start selling these alongside the firewalls to offset and do more AI detection capability, essentially on large amounts of data.
Yep, thanks for that input, Adam. All right, so without further ado, we can now go into some live demos with Crystal Eye. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay, great. I'm sure everyone can see my screen over here. So with the new Crystal Eye 6.0 demo, we've made some improvements to our system dashboard. If you don't know, the system dashboard is where you can see all your vital information about your CE, your CPU usage, memory process. You can also have an overview of applications that have been enabled or disabled. And importantly, you can also see any recent software activity for updates, which are very important.
And we've worked really hard here as well. We've increased the amount of monitoring we can do, particularly moving down into the hardware monitoring for customers as well. So you start to see some of those benefits coming in. But also in our software update, partners and customers have been with us for a while and understand this, know that we're taking on that risk for our customers. You know, every week I wake up with a security product becoming the attack vector. It was one of the frustrations that that got me to start this project. We needed to come up with a better way. Red Piranha is continuously updating this software and maintaining that risk, managing that risk for our end customers if they're using the automatic software updates. And the system has become so efficient over the last several years that we're actually looking potentially, we're reducing our actual upgrade firmware releases just because of the need is becoming not needed as much, essentially. So that might slip back to once a year, depending on an as-needed basis. But that efficiency is really driving in, and we're seeing customers get a major benefit out of those software updates now.
Yep. Thanks for that. Next up, let's move on to the threat hunt dashboard. Using the threat hunt dashboard, you can hunt for threats within your network. And recently, we've made some improvements to our AI threat hunting and escalating reports over into CSOC.
And we've been working with Intel. As you know, we're an Intel partner. We've been working with our Intel partners also. So there's been a total rebuild around the lateral detection from AI within Crystal Eye as it stands now. And we're also working over the roadmap to utilize Intel's GPU offsets within the product as well. So this is an area that we'll be able to do on the current appliances, detecting more and more anomalies within those protocols. But this threat hunt dashboard, as you know, is really about that human-machine teaming for our customers, so that our security operations team, unlike other products in its class, where you might have to leave a product to go to an incident response, we're able to do reactive and proactive threat hunting, specifically for the incident response process, which is why every customer of Red Piranha's has an incident response retainer with us, whether you're subscribing to our managed detection and response service or SOC as a service, or if you're doing it yourself.
Yep. Thanks for that, Adam. Okay, next up, I want to talk about some of the system configuration improvements that we're doing. Most importantly, in 6.0, we are introducing something called deployment modes. It's a new guided deployment wizard to simplify your Crystal Eye setup. At the moment, we have some predefined modes such as Secure Web Gateway, SASE, TDIR, which automatically applies recommended settings for each use case. You can also choose particular settings as well. So as you pick one of your deployment modes, it'll be a wizard that'll take you to the next step where you can select applications, set interfaces, etc. And this is designed to reduce configuration complexity and speed up deployments.
And important to note too, our SASE deployments now reach across every continent. I think we've got about 28 different locations now, including Japan and South America and Korea and Europe and APAC, Australia, of course. So the ability to deploy Crystal Eye at scale, is now, or has been for a while too, a major possibility. So we're improving that process. I think the marketing team calls it 6 clicks to security now. Essentially you just go through Orchestrate and you could be spinning up and deploying security in one of those deployment modes, whether it be across your cloud, across protecting your workforce, whether it be remote, or your network stack for advanced threat detection and incident response.
Yep. And staying on system configuration, we have also made some improvements to high availability in 6.0. We're going to make mandatory high availability redundancy with enforced primary and secondary role weighting. There'll be manual failover support for maintenance and control transitions. Failover notifications will also be sent to CSOC and emails with optional SNMP traps, improved high availability logging and visibility for troubleshooting. Is there anything else, Adam, you want to add about high availability?
No, at this stage, we're just really increasing that capability across the HA stack, and working with our partners and customers to continuously bring in their feature requests based off their use cases.
Yep, and on availability, I would like to also mention that since 5.5, we introduced RAID as well. At the moment, it's data RAID that'll operate on both the operating system drive as well as the data disk drive, and RAID helps with data redundancy in your drives.
And big focus on this release. And while there is a fantastic amount of new product and new features, but there has been a massive focus on this release around reliability, availability, and just maintaining those security outcomes for our customers, particularly for larger networks and more complex networks. So there's a lot of features in networking and in the back end of the platform across the whole cybersecurity mesh architecture that makes up Crystal Eye, to make sure things are available. I think since 5.5 in the last 12 months, we've had a 99% uptime as well across the board on our cybersecurity mesh architecture as well. So it's been a fantastic job by the team. We have not had downtime, unplanned, and even planned downtime now means no interruption to service, which is an incredible feat. But no unplanned downtime for several years now. So it's a great effort by the team. And these are all about maintaining that for our customers too, and training our customers so that they can maintain no downtime and reliability for their customers.
Yep. Thanks, Adam. While chatting about high availability, I mentioned SNMP traps. I'm also proud to announce that we've introduced SNMP v2c in 6.0. It integrates with the standard NMS tools for health and status and alert visibility. So it'll enable you to proactively monitor your deployments across multiple sites. It helps improve operational awareness and reduces response time. So at the moment, we have V2C introduced in 6.0, but in future, we definitely going to be looking at improving SNMP.
And that'll be related to integrations as well. So if you have any integration requirements that you wish us to explore, please talk to your account managers and George and send it through to the product team. Get on the forum, and as a company that you can be close to in the engineering side, you have a chance to mold that part of the platform. And in fact, one of the programs that Zaid and George will be bringing in back in the new year is the partner workshops as well on products. So roundtables where you can get involved and talk about the direction and roadmap that you would love to see happening in the platform. So basically telling us about your security challenges and us helping find those solutions to your problems.
Yep. Thanks, Adam. Another new feature we introduced in 5.5, but is also available in 6.0. So it'll be available in 5.5 and up is bridge interface support. Now, the bridge interface enables transparent inline deployment without having you to change your IP addressing or routing. So it'll allow your Crystal Eye to inspect and protect traffic while passing it through untouched. Ideal for complex and sensitive or legacy environments, and simplifies deployment and reduces downtime during installation.
And another great step here to make things simpler for our customers, you know, where they don't particularly involve in deploying in networks that already have products and networking around. So that'll really simplify the deployment of Crystal Eye into those environments and solve a lot of problems.
Yep. Next up, I would like to talk about some improvements that we've made to DAS, our Declarative Authorisation Service, which is a policy engine for application and API access. We've now added support for Kubernetes environments, and in the future we may look at adding support for other services such as GitHub or Jenkins. DAS has been very popular with our users, so definitely something that we're going to look at improving into the future.
Yeah, it's solving some massive problems, giving that control and management of you know, development environments back to infrastructure, particularly in line with our asset management, which Zaid will talk about as well. That's all linked in, but this really does allow you know, that borderless firewalling concept to take shape. If you've got integration requests specifically, you'll be starting to see a lot of this roll out in software updates. It won't require firmware updates, these further integration and templating. But you know, it really does give you also immediate detection engineering uplift once deployed, because now you've got TDIR deployed, plug and play, mind you. Anybody who works in detection engineering will know that this is not usually simple, but of course it just works out of the box essentially in this environment. So we're working with customers now in this and other areas of those integration points. So DAS is really coming along nicely, and we employ you to try it out, give us your use cases, work with our teams to deploy and come up with ways to solve your security problems on that and controlling microservices if you're running those CI/CD environments and development environments. Yep.
Another improvement that we made, major improvement, is to the secure web gateway. We've added stronger CASB enforcement for software as a service visibility and control. CASB is Cloud Access Security Broker. We've enhanced DNS tunneling and detection for covert channel protection. We have a new machine learning driven threat classification and anomaly detection, improved policy accuracy, and reduced false positive. And with this improved log data, it gets sent directly to CSOC. So when they find something that doesn't look right, they're able to respond quicker with more informed information.
So working with a number of customers across that Defender policy, as you know, we've got the Office 365 and Defender integration directly into this environment for customers. And we're now working with several large companies to deploy their policy, and our GRC teams are also there available to help with any policy control rollouts as well that may be needed for those environments, but greatly increasing your detection engineering across cloud, network, and endpoint.
Yeah, and on the same note with protection endpoints, we've also introducing a web application firewall. This provides a reverse proxy on external interfaces for the Crystal Eye to internal servers. Some things that we will be adding are custom rules to secure application endpoints, SNI switching support for multi-domain hosting, and we're even going to work on Crystal Eye signed certificates for simplified deployments.
Coupled along, we're already working with those WAF rule sets that you have in the IDPS as well, best in class. It means, again, once deployed, you'll have best-in-class detection for these specific in deployment modes as well, which is really important. Same with critical infrastructure, having all all those detection capabilities in the product as well, with improvements to passive encryption control for those OT environments at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, and thanks. Adam, was anything else before I move on to Orchestrate?
No, this part have been massive improvements to the risk auditing profiling section, which I'm sure you'll cover off a little bit in Orchestrate, but that's obviously linked to Crystal Eye here. Also, like I said, that passive encryption control improvements and the vulnerability management also now being linked in with that asset management as well, which we'll talk about a little bit here, is all based off of Crystal Eye. But I'll let you go on to that.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I will touch back on risk auditing in a second, but first I'd like to talk about some of the improvements that we have in Orchestrate. So I'll focus on three major areas, CMDB, the risk register, and CTI. So first I'd like to talk about CMDB. The CMDB gives you a unified, accurate view of all your assets across your customers. So here, for example, we have two sites or deployments. We have, these are all dummy data for now. So here we have the Perth office. And when we click on it, we can view information about the site and also the devices that are added to the site. And then we have a list of all the devices that we could see within the site, including some unnamed devices as well. Let's look at this Windows 11 work PC that we have on the site. So we can add a lot of information here. This information can be added manually, but a lot of it is also pulled in from the Crystal Eye and added to this device. We could see things like applications that are installed on this device. We can tag this device so we know that it's a season managed device, corporate device, endpoint, etc. And there's also comments on there so that we can keep up to date on any changes that have been made here. So, for example, we can see that this was provisioned for a finance staff member, and then Caesar policy was verified and application whitelisting was added onto this device.
Yeah, it's a great integration here. We're really solving a massive problem. Asset management is a hard thing to do. This allows asset management to be managed across infrastructure teams responsible for assets, finance teams, security teams, and compliance teams. So it allows that coordination and collaboration, which often these things have been done in silo if they're done at all. And that's a really important aspect to look at here, because now we can deploy security like vulnerability management, which Zaid will talk about, but also bring in the compliance teams who can also manage the threat exposure to verified assets, but also having that link around SBOM data or the software bill of materials. So we're looking at microservices and software as assets, not just physical assets here, even down in the CMDB to things like cables and racks and actually deployment types of different assets as well. So it really is bringing a whole new level of security management to the overall integration into the network and endpoint control.
And it's a compliance issue as well, Adam. A lot of the higher order compliance, Essential 8 issues require this to be undertaken.
Correct. And a lot of other compliance areas, I see a lot of things in the industry where people come and say, I want to do DLP, can I buy a DLP product? And that's not how DLP works. You can't do data loss protection. You can't do data classification until you have good asset management as a dependency. So we often see customers having to go back to the start and really build out asset management. What we're trying to do is automate as much asset management as we can through our consolidated platform. And this is an important thing because asset management can be tedious. And so also, it's also, yes, a compliance part where we're also maintaining, managing shadow IT issues potentially. Knowing what's on your network is just as important as managing those assets, because those unmanaged assets can become a risk in their own right.
Yep, absolutely. Touching on shadow IT, the CMDB does help with that. In the initial view, looking at the devices, we could see that there were some unknown devices. This CMDB will help you pick up those unknown devices that have been connected to the network.
That's right. Crystal Eye already has visibility across that network, but also into the cloud as well. And also through vulnerability, you can actually use vulnerability scanning to actually detect unseen devices on a network. So you have both passive and active scanning availability within that environment.
Yep, absolutely. So just to round up some other information on this device, we can see the interfaces and that this device is connected to. So it's connected to a Cisco router through the gigabit 01 port. We also have data on the vulnerability scanning. So scanning data that comes from the Crystal Eye can be added into this device. And you can see all the different threats and the severity. And there's also SBOM data for this device showing a snapshot of information of applications that are installed on this device. Cool. All right, next up, I'm going to move on to CTI, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Adam, before I move on.
Not really, mate. I was going to talk a little bit about that that connection. Also in Orchestrate, you are able to view the traffic flow policies from the firewall, the zone-based firewalling in Orchestrate as well. And this is really important too. So as we're discovering vulnerabilities, you're able to set up potential moving target defense, as they call it, or virtual patching to mitigate risks. While obviously anyone who's done vulnerability management knows asset management is also one of the banes of its existence too. You're using an open source or even a paid vulnerability scanning tool. It gives you a list of thousands of findings and a list of hundreds of IPs, right? And that's in a small environment. It can then take a lot of time to go through and try and match these and do threat modeling and work out if CVEs are actually, work out if things are exploitable, but also understanding the asset. This again automates that process for you. But then we can actually go and review in Orchestrate. There's actually, you can go look at the device and look at that your traffic rules to make sure that this device is protected from the risks that process might be uncovering, and again solving a massive problem for security and compliance managers in organizations.
Yep. Thanks. And as we mentioned before, that Shadow IT device is listed right here as an unknown device within the device list. Okay, next up, I was going to talk about the Cyber Threat Intelligence dashboard. So this gives you a global overview of cyber threats around the world. We're able to see some of the most active threats, some of the most targeted victims in terms of the industry, so like government, finance, technology, manufacturing. It shows you some of the most active vulnerabilities and their rating, and also some of the latest reports on some of the vulnerability findings.
Really exciting stuff. We've talked about cyber threat intelligence for a long time. Red Piranha is a key player in the cyber threat space, and we work hard to track threats, specializing in advanced persistent threats as well as ransomware. But looking after defense contractors, it is really important to track the harder, less noisy threat actors, you might say. Darknet monitoring is great for ransomware threat actors, but our APTs just posting all their dumps on dark web. They're not. So our job's really to keep up with those threats. We do post that every Monday, what's been happening in the previous week, so there's full transparency. And our customers know, and it is an ISO 27000 series mandatory requirement now that threat intelligence is utilized in your stack. And it's one thing to buy a threat feed. The real problem here is in how that is deployed across your stack to get actionable outcomes. Red Piranha solves, again, Crystal Eye solves this problem for our customers. Threat intelligence is already baked in across your stack transparently for you. You don't have to do anything. It's an included service. This just allows you to interact a little bit more with that threat intelligence, not just in our weekly posts, but to see what's happening. We'll be pushing more and more data through to this You'll be able to also track companies as well that are being tracked. So you can track things like customers, environments. And again, if your customer is linked in with us, they already get darknet monitoring for ransomware attacks as a service included as well. So this is another exciting part that just we're aiming to show you the hard work that's happening behind the scenes and allows you to interact with that.
Yep, absolutely. And there's a lot of data that we have in here, and more that can be added into the future. So yeah, so cyber threat intelligence is a very exciting part of the features that we've added. Next up, I wanted to be talking about the risk auditing. So this is the risk register that works in conjunction with the Crystal Eye. So within the Crystal Eye, we have a risk auditing application that'll allow you to create an assessment and add some risks. And in the risk register, we have a more detailed way of analyzing those risks. So for example, for this project, we have a bunch of different risks classed in different ways. We have hardware, software assets, etc. You'll notice a rating over here, and the rating at the moment will just show the highest risk that's in that particular class. For example, if I click on the software assets, I'm able to see some of the risks that have been added. We are able to close a risk if we need to. And if need be, we can also reopen some of the closed risks once if we find that that risk has reappeared again or hasn't been properly resolved.
That's right, and we've also done massive changes on Crystal Eye as well with that risk collection and processing, starting off as a risk auditing process. So looking to automate this, but I think there's a few questions in there already about third-party supply chain risk and other things there. So yes, we're utilizing the data that we have to also start to automate and automate some of that risk management process. And of course, our eCISO packages with customers is a semi-automated or not automated, but we use those driving technological efficiencies to be able to deliver risk management to customers at a really competitive price. The outcomes are amazing for our customers, and you know, we're trying to make it easier for people to cover off security all the time. And unfortunately for us, being in the control plane and the stack that we have allows us to have a really long roadmap on how this can be done and achieved for our customers as well for future advancements. And that's what we're doing all the time here. So I'll get to some of those third-party questions on risk. But yeah, the eCISO allows us to do auditing by site, auditing by organization, and really track that risk management process for customers going forward with good cadence as well. And you're doing continuous threat exposure management. The rest of the platform then allows us to do things like cover off risks, detect risks, and mitigate risks at the same time, especially with the zone-based firewalling capabilities that we have. We're able to do moving target defense, which basically means we can actually close off potential risks immediately, even though there might not be software updates or patches at the same time. So that's a really important facet for customers to understand.
Yep, absolutely. And yes, and on that ends our live demonstration. So let me get back to the slides.
Getting to the question time. Thank you, Zaid. That's Zaid's first product partner presentation. So give him a round of applause. Well done, mate. I put him on the hot seat, but he's been working really hard behind the scenes for a little while now. And we'll let him finish off and then we can get into some question time. I've got a lot of questions here, so it's great. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam. And just before finishing off, we showed everything from the Crystal Eye operating system through to some of the features in Orchestrate. Just remember that everything works together. So it's not just enough to have a Crystal Eye appliance that, you know, it's good, gives you the endpoint protection, but utilizing Orchestrate and some of the other tools really what empowers you and to help you protect your network.
That's right. And if you want to go back, and of course, we're focused on the new features and products today for 6.0 and coming out now as we speak. But if you want to go back and look at past videos, we have other videos in our YouTube channel, and of course go through other capabilities and full capabilities like best-in-class threat detection, Defender and Office 365 integration, and the other things that we didn't get time to cover today. But we'll get into the questions, and I guess George and Zay.
If anybody wants more information, please reach out to me or your account rep. We're more than happy to explain in more detail on some of that other stuff. Firstly, we have a question from John. Hey, John Dryden, how you going? He asks whether we have any mobile 5G deployments in the mining sector as of yet, Adam.
Worked with a couple of mining companies, but we haven't deployed any of the 5G yet. This is brand new, mate. So something we'll be looking to do in 2026. We wanted to present to our partners and customers today to show you what we have now coming out and start working with your, your scoping around requirements early. We haven't even put pricing on this stuff yet. That'll be coming in the next month for 30, 40 days. And we'll work with our partners on how that can roll out as well going forward. I think there's one there he also asked about the quantum computing. That's the post-quantum decryption on that, or post-quantum decryption protection, essentially. So post-quantum encryption capability within the SD-WAN. Look, that we're doing testing on that right now. There is what's called a key exchange, which runs alongside in parallel with the SD-WAN site-to-site or client to site. So it'll actually allow Crystal Eyes to talk with post-quantum protected encryption site to site, but also from client. There is a slight overhead. We are going to be bringing this into our current product range. So you won't need any specialized equipment per se. It will run on our enterprise grade equipment. Will you want to be running the latest ones? Possibly. That will be able to answer in the next month or so. But the aim here is to bring this level, I hate using the term, but the defense grade, defense grade protection to all our retail and enterprise customers. Essentially, that's the goal here, and I think we've been able to achieve that. The ASD's guidance on post-quantum encryption is just guidance at the moment to get ready. Other providers are charging a lot for specialized equipment. My aim here over the last several months of R&D was to get this to customers in our current product range. Will you want to be running it on 3 or 4 year old equipment? Probably not. There will be a new resource overhead to this, but we're looking to maintain that within the current product range.
All right, next question from Samir. There is an increase in third-party vulnerability. How can DAS help?
It's a good question, I suppose. If we're talking specifically around API I suppose we are talking about API with DAS here, or microservices protection. There's two ways that Crystal Eye can help there, well, lots of ways, but the two main ways will be running that continuous threat exposure management with a container-based vulnerability tracking. That'll actually tell you if you have third-party library risk for those in those environments. The other one is in that continuous threat exposure management. So even the risk auditing capability through our programs there will allow you to, so if DAS is deployed for other authentication into those environments, you should have a zero trust model there. But if you don't, you can actually use that to deploy moving target defense. That's exactly what I talked about in the presentation, where you can use that to deploy essentially virtual patching for that environment specifically, which should help mitigate the third-party vulnerabilities. But again, if you're starting off from a zero trust mindset when you're deploying that protection, you should have protection in place for those risks. But you can look at it in two ways. So that's I hope that there's another one on DAS there. It leads into that.
Yeah. I think you're answering it.
Policy. Yeah. I'll just answer that a little bit further on. Yes, well, it uses a mixture of both network protection and agent through Crystal Eye. Then deploys the agent into that environment, and there's a process. There's DAS webinars there, and our tech webinars you can watch to how to do that. But it uses both network and agent-based policy enforcement, and then Crystal Eye is the policy enforcer that you set up and enforce those, and then we have templates in there to help do that, and we're trying to build more of these out all the time. So as we work with customers on their specific use cases, we'll build out more templates for that. But it is very usable now. Like as I had said, it's just been expanded to work in Kate's as well as Kubernetes. So Kate's is a Kubernetes management system, and quite a popular one. We'll be looking to include that with OpenStack and a whole bunch of other. The capabilities, there's a long roadmap for us to integrate there, a lot of different things, and we're just doing that as customers need it at this point in time. So yeah, bring your use case to us.
And an open-ended question from Samir in Nepal, another Samir, is asking what level of third-party device integration is supported with the CE device?
It's a tough question to answer, isn't it? Because in what part are you talking about? We just talked about integration.
Network or security?
Policy. We just talked about policy enforcement at microservice level and the integrations there. We've talked about vulnerability management and the integrations there, what that works on. Look, it is a bit open-ended. Caesar is only, is used in enterprise Windows environments. So there's dependencies and integrations across the board. We have direct integration, obviously, with the Microsoft Office stack in Azure tenancies and Defender. So we have direct integration there. So it really does depend on what you're talking about in the platform. But we are, we have good integration.
Happy to take that up with you, Samir. If you do want to have a session on that, we can talk about that. But we're pretty open-ended in terms of our integration, especially when we're doing things like CMDB, when we're gathering information from everything basically. So we do have quite open policy around that. John's asking, when will we be able to work with clients wanting to build their own sovereign data protection using their own internal SLM or versions of LLM with licensing agreements to utilize AI and data protection? Wow.
It's a good question. And yes, I mean, that's exactly why we're looking to release these AI server components, or releasing these AI server components. There's 3 models, which can be racked up and stacked, of course, John. But I've got a lot of questions over the last 12 months on protecting AI. So obviously the plan is to help companies build out their own secure, sovereign LLM and AI systems, on premise or in private cloud, however they want to do it. And obviously we'll be looking to work with them to secure those systems while they build out their own AI. So yeah, great for AI startups, great for anyone looking to build AI into their workflows right now. So yeah, that's exactly why it's there. We've got 3 different models, small, medium, and large at this point. But again, you can rack these up. There's an 8U, 2U, and 2U versions. So that allows you to really be flexible in the size and the scope of the AI, and possibly for larger enterprises that are looking to build in-house AI systems, whether it be for product on sell or even just in management generally. We've had a lot of inquiries, or I've had a lot of people coming to me asking me about this continuously, almost 3 or 4 a week. So I thought we can do this and help customers in this area.
Hopefully that answers your question around supply chain as well, John. I'll take a couple of questions from Samir around training. Samir, we do have cyber awareness training. We do have cyber security training. We have a full path for you to become an engineer in this cybersecurity space using our OS and our systems. We're rolling this out to technical colleges and universities as we speak. So there's a huge pathway for education if you wanted to establish that in Nepal. I don't think we have another partner in Nepal. So if you wanted to be our partner in Nepal, we would start the RMA process for advanced replacement with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
and on that, we are selling those labs too. We've built custom labs out now, which have gone through with our partners. And I think one of them's on the call today. So thank you there to our partners in Australia working with us to help develop these labs out as we increase. Next year, we'll be increasing the CSOC, or adding the CSOC component. So training, people doing training can train across all this type of deployments that we're talking about, but also the detection component of that, and even the vulnerability and risk management of that. So yes, we have dedicated training labs, currently part of the college system here, but looking to move that also into the university system next year, which will be really exciting. There'll be micro courses that people can take to study Crystal Eye, and we'll be continually offering this in our own training platform as well. So our partners and customers obviously have access to the training that we're always trying to improve. And if you want to work with us on that, please reach out.
Samir, please reach out to me via email if you can. Drop me an email. I'll call you straight after this, and we can have a discussion about your requirements around SOC and training and everything else. So I'll continue. We have a question around what Crystal Eye components are covered in the RMA process.
Yeah, good question again. Obviously, we're starting off that with the ones that fail the most. Look, all hardware has a failure rate, whether it be in shipping or, and just generally, through power failures. 5% is we're a 9001 ISO certified company, so we have a strong process around this and trying to track this, both in product development, but also in product quality management. We take that very seriously. So anything over 5% is an issue, but the first thing that usually goes is system drives. We were an early adopter of NVMe system drives in Red Piranha back a few years ago. NVMe has had its challenges with system drives, particularly in heavy read or write. They seem to have ironed out a bit. That's not so much the quality of choice we've used or anything like that. They were quite limited back a few years ago. But just generally the industry sorting out some issues with that. So we did see that spike up to around that 4 or 5% mark with NVMe. Still within that acceptable, tolerable level, but still not ideal. So that's the first thing that could be swapped out, but and the most common thing that gets sort of busted up as well, you might say, or needs RMA.
Great.
Other things do happen in shipping, but other things like system drives, motherboards, RAM is another one that tends to either be shipped with an issue, which we do test for, of course, but can pick up corruption during its process. CPUs are another thing, but CPUs these days tend to be a little bit more robust than what they used to be several years ago, to be honest. So it does fluctuate based on industry, what's happening in the industry, but that's kind of the components we're talking about here. And of course, through our partners, we'll be able to do this the same day. Yep.
I was going to add, we have a full life cycle management process where we do work with our partners and customers to ensure that life cycle of the product is swapped out after 3-4 years, just to make sure that you have the very latest hardware, very latest software, and don't encounter these problems. So for us, RMAs are very rare, very rare.
Yeah.
I've got a great question from Chad. Do you have default policies to assist with smaller businesses?
Yes, that ACSO package is what we think it is the most competitive package on the market. Chad, it's not just about policies, unfortunately. I can give you a set of policies tomorrow. You can download those from the internet. Unfortunately, when you're talking about governance and risk, it is about people, process, and technology, and the policy really just makes up a small fraction of that. It's important to have the policies, but then it's very important to have the procedures and then to be able to map those policy and procedures to the actions. And that's the challenging part when it comes to controls. So yes, we do have those, but the eCISO packages we have for small business, and we had to do this, when we cut our teeth in that defense supplier ecosystem several years ago. A lot of these were SMEs, being given quite a steep target to meet in security. So we had to come up with ways to be able to service that SME market and at least be palatable. It is a new cost for SMEs, and we're fully aware of that. But we've worked really hard to, what we think is be able to give that people, process, and technology to an SME at a reasonable price to get the security outcomes they do require to meet modern day compliance, whether it be insurance. And in fact, the team has recently rolled out an insurance toolkit to help companies, because a lot of insurance companies just aren't paying out or aren't providing insurance to customers at the moment, which is quite concerning. 60% of Australian businesses now don't have cyber insurance, I think, which is actually a remarkable number that's increasing, unfortunately.
One more. How can CMDB help detect shadow IT? We're right on
I think that was covered off already, Rosalind. But generally, Crystal Eye has capability to do passive and active scanning of devices and on a network. And of course, that linkage with CMDB through Orchestrate, and that's what we're giving to our customers. It is a cybersecurity mesh architecture as a service. It means you don't need 12 engineers to stand this stuff up in your organization that you'd need to do this type of thing, if not more. It allows you to get visibility of what's operating on your network and track and map and manage those. And then, of course, you saw the risk management side of that as well. So that is really how it does it. Again, it's both active and passive. Active is suitable for most environments, but it is good to probably run some, passive is suitable for most environments, but it is probably good to run some active scans every now and then to make sure anything isn't being missed.
Okay. John just John just said his question was around law firms with, say, 40-seat operations. Does that have an impact on the way you answered it?
Are you referring to the AI component there, John?
I guess he is, yeah.
Well, that's quite possible. Again, there comes, that whole SaaS model might be suitable for smaller businesses. But yes, a law firm, if they have a sovereign and they want to maintain this internally, which I think is important, we've done that with Red Piranha, then yes, it can help out that organization as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam. And Samir, I will call you straight after this. I think, Zaid, we're pretty much over time. We covered everything we have. If anybody has any further questions, please come back to us on info@redpiranha.net. There's the phone number there, or drop me a personal email. I'm george.boulis@redpiranha.net. Thank you all for your time. And good morning, good afternoon, good night. Cheers, everybody.
Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
And a Merry Christmas.